Hello everyone. My name is Rima. I'm from Relo, and this is our Growth Stories podcast. Welcome to our another exciting episode. Our aim through this podcast is to bring you inspiring stories from industry experts we greatly admire, and we hope you learn a lot. You learn valuable lessons from their journey, from their successes, from the failures, from their experiences. Today we have Mr. Gaurav Naarang, founder of Coffee Culture. Coffee Culture started in 2004 and has now grown into 30 outlets in 22 cities in India. Gaurav tends to bring in a culture between youth, a culture of coffee in India. And now let's hear from the horse's mouth itself. Welcome, Gaurav, to our episode of Growth Stories.
Thank you for having me.
So, Gaurav, before we begin, I would like to know your journey from zero outlet to one. How did you enter this business of coffee, and what was that aha moment that led you to become an entrepreneur?
Basically, it all started when I was studying in Simbi in Pune, and that was way back in 2001. I'm a 2004 pass out, so basically that was the time when India was seeing a lot of international brands. The retail revolution began. The McDonald's of the world, the Pizza Huts of the world, and all of them were expanding. That was the time when cafe coffee day started, and by the time I graduated, they had around 100 outlets. So where I was staying, barista was my everyday spot. I used to wake up and I used to have my coffee. There was a barista right next to my home, and the idea was that there was a very small little coffee shop also, which I remember way back. You know, which was on FC Road, which is quite famous in Pune. So that kind of coffee culture for youth was something which was growing in Pune, and it was taking by the brands like Cafe Coffee Day and baristas were taking the entire country. They were opening every nook and corner, and the entire QSR revolution was going on. The malls were coming up, and that's when I thought that there's this need of having our own brand, which is Indian brand and a coffee brand. And I saw a very big problem when we used to visit all the cafes. They normally had food which was in display cabinets. And we really wanted that, we spend that around 1 or 2 hours in cafes like that. And we really wanted to have good food with good coffee. So that was the idea where we thought that, our coffee bar should be a place which is primarily a five-star coffee shop, which comes out of any of the five stars like Taj or Hyatt, where people go for meeting, dating, that kind of a comfort and a living room kind of an atmosphere, that next door kind of an atmosphere with good coffees and scratch kitchen, which always made everything from scratch rather than having sandwiches, burgers, and pizzas which are lying in the FDU from 2 days and microwave it and give it. So we as Indians, we always like, if you're spending around 1 or 2 hours in a coffee shop, you really want to have that good food. You want to take that mini vacation if you're with your gang, if you're dating somebody, if you're actually having a business meeting. So that was the kind of experience we really wanted to give. And that was the time when we thought that yes, we have to spread this culture. And that's where the aha moment came that it has to be coffee culture across India.
Right. So, what's the story behind Unculture Yourself? I see that tagline behind you as well, and I see it everywhere
Hmm.
wherever I see coffee culture. What's the story behind that?
So basically, when you talk about spreading the culture and connecting with the youth, the idea is that when we're talking about unculture yourself, what we basically say is that the current youth is quite rebellious, and they've always been that they want to change the norm, they want to be their self, they want to change the entire way they think about things. So we always wanted to connect with them on a level wherein you come to a place and you unculture yourself. You make yourself free from all the thought processes. This is a place where you can chill without being judged, without being,
Mm.
without thinking that, this is the way you have to look at things. But that was always our DNA, that, we really wanted to distort the normal, and we want to make sure that, we connect and relate with the current youth. And that's why this line.
Right. Oh, that's amazing. So your primarily your target is youth of the country.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So youth
But
and young and heart people.
I'm assuming we considered as young. We are also considered as young, no?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Awesome,
Even
awesome.
our Prime
Hmm.
Minister Narendra Modi is young now.
Yeah, so basically we're just changing the definition of young and then creating a young culture. I like that. I like that thought.
Yeah,
How do you think coffee industry is evolving in India after being so many years in coffee industry? Are people adapting, moving from that instant coffee culture, and then, how do you think it's evolving?
absolutely. It's been, ever changing. It's faster than, your Instagram having updates and, the
Yeah.
new features. So that's how, coffee industry is changing. Every day, people are expecting us to get new features, or somebody else is getting that new features. And it sometimes becomes a learning, and sometimes it becomes the trendsetter. So, coffee industry, when we opened, it was like, I remember staying on the counter and people saying, "Ek Nest coffee dena," and that's when we used to actually tell them that, this is a bean to cup coffee.
Yeah.
We've sourced our beans from Chikmagalur, and these are roasted to perfection. Now we have a trained barista who would grind your coffee beans, take out espresso shots, and all the beverages here are made out of espresso shot. And it's not espresso, or it's not Nescoffee, it's cappuccino if you want frost
Yeah.
coffee. So,
Yeah.
that's how we trained people. We made that culture quite much prevalent, and we tried to educate the customer initially. And from there, we were selling cappuccinos and burgers. We started selling burgers. Then eventually we upgrade from a small coffee shop. We became a lounge, and we started having an all-day menu, which eventually was the demand of the guests, like, from salads to pizzas to pastas and sizzlers, because, sizzlers actually define that, you can't have a frozen sizzler place like Assemble and do it. Whereas, burgers and pizzas can be done like that. So we always wanted to be that kind of a brand which advocates the fresh scratch kitchen concept with a cafe. So that's how our sizzlers are really famous. And, we were the first ones in the cafe segment to have scratch kitchen lounge
Yeah.
kind of an atmosphere, and sizzlers to be named as one of our larger USPs. So eventually, now the market from cafe food and scratch kitchen has gone back again to the third wave of coffee after the second wave of COVID. So what has happened is that now people are understanding the nuances of
Yeah.
coffee. Specialty coffee has become more, more and more intricate than ever. People have understood. People really want to know where your beans come from, how it is roasted, what is the kind of roast. People really want to have the kind of options, like, what kind of milk alternatives I want to have in my
Yeah.
coffee. So you must have seen a lot of people now want to customize their coffee more
Coffee.
than ever.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
people in India, may say that, chai varies from locality to locality, and everywhere the chai is different. But coffee, there would be a locality wherein, there would be a chai, a specific kind of chai. But
Mhm.
to coffee, it is customization to personal individual. You may be a frappe person, or Pareen may be a black coffee person, or I may be a cappuccino person.
Yeah.
So everybody has their own preference of coffees, and the way they want to customize their coffee according to their taste preference. So
Yeah.
that's the kind of personalization, specialization, which has entered into coffee industry lately. and the guests want to have. It's not just about having coffee at cafe. They also
Yeah.
want to have their caffeine dose when they're traveling, when they're at
Yeah.
office, when they're at home. So now you see people, they want to brew cafe-like coffee at home. Everybody
Yeah.
wants to become that cool barista, and
Yeah.
want to brew coffee for their friends at home, and
Yeah. And
that has become a thing now. Kind of coffee culture which has been
Mhm.
evolving all throughout.
True, true. No, no, that's true. I've also seen lately all those e-commerce websites, like in retail, has coffee started been selling a lot to
Mm.
coffee blends. And now everyone
Hmm.
has this on a website where you want French press or pour or drip coffee. So this is
Yeah.
makes it feel that people are now getting more and more aware about what are different ways to brew coffee too now. So it's not just one
Absolutely,
way.
absolutely. So
So
I have a circle of people who would call me at any hour of the day, and they would ask me about what kind of coffee should I buy, what kind of coffee machine should I have at my home, at my office, and everywhere. Even if they're traveling, they want a different coffee gear. At their home, they want a different coffee gear. So
yeah, yeah,
things have changed left, right, and center.
yeah.
And now
No,
we
no.
are awaiting the fourth wave, how it would look like.
It's soon, soon. We'll experience it soon, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, Gaurav, we spoke about scratch to kitchen concept, and we spoke about a lot of. So, in today's time, also there are a lot of cafes. Starbucks being one of them, such huge brand too.
Mhm.
So they also have this frozen food concept. They don't have kitchen wherein they make things fresh. So, but
Mhm.
for them it works out. But you have 30 outlets now, and I'm sure that you're planning to grow into more. How do you make sure that the consistent, the quality, the taste, everything is there across all of your, outlets?
Let me correct you. You know what has happened with
Yeah,
Starbucks also in
yeah,
recent times. We learn a lot from them because they are
yeah.
the industry leaders. They
Hmm,
have been there, done that, and
true.
the longest in the industry, the largest coffee chain. They have recently, if you visit Starbucks, you might have known that they've started with freshly baked sandwiches,
Yeah,
which are quite similar to the way Subway is doing. So they really want to make those sandwiches right in front of customers' eyes. So now these brands are also realizing that customers still customers don't want those ready to eat products. They when they
true.
are actually coming to your cafe or a restaurant or a casual dine, they really want to have that fresh food.
True.
That's why they're coming to you. Otherwise, they'll go to supermarkets and warm it, and everybody has a microwave at their place. So
True.
that's the kind of experience which people are
Hmm,
looking for. And
yeah.
when it comes to the gourmet side of food, everything
Hmm,
has changed. Post COVID, everyone was a home chef at home. People have understood that
yeah.
making great food is not a thing of a celebrity chef restaurant or an age-old restaurant or a legendary cafe or something like that. So everybody has learned it from the internet, and the information is available all throughout. And the guests today, they are more informed than ever. People have
Yeah.
been across the world. They've seen how things happen,
Yeah.
and that's why when now the entire need is that if they are coming to you, they really want that kind of an experience which they can't have at home. That's why they're
True.
coming to you.
True. True.
So if they
No,
can have that, if they can make Maggie at home, why would they buy Maggie at your place?
true.
So
True. True.
I'm saying this, but we were the first ones in cafes to, in fact, start Maggie way back in 2008, when Maggie was not even available on mountains. You know,
Right. Right.
So we
Right.
started with Maggie Sizzler in a cafe that was an instant rage, you know.
Right.
But yes, you have to change with time. You in cafe industry, you can't say that this is the particular product which is driving you. Otherwise, you're
Yeah.
not changing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
True.
our star product every 2 years it changes. Our hero changes.
Right.
You can't have the same Amitabh Bachchan for all dawn.
Right. No, but like you said, in COVID, we became like Instagram cooks. saw it on
Yeah.
reels and recipes and everything, and those keeps changing as well. So there's
Mm,
maybe few months it'll be banana bread, another few months
mm,
it'll be cupcake and something like that.
mm.
So this
Yeah.
industry needs to evolve too as per those TikTok and reel recipes and stuff. But yeah, one
Yes.
thing is for sure that since people started cooking at home because of COVID, not only they
Mm,
realize the, how the cook is food, but they also realize the
mm,
importance of it. They also realize कि कितनी मेहनत जाती है, right? So now when they go to a
mm,
cafe, they order something, they understand the importance of it, they understand what goes behind it, how much time goes behind it to, marinate the
mm.
stuff, to, cook it and all of that. And now there's like more what do you say, appreciation towards it.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And that appreciation, like, what happens is, like, you would start appreciating having sushi when you know what goes into a sushi.
Yeah, true, true.
If you understand what goes into a coffee, and it's not just that cappuccino, the
Hmm.
kind of effort which has gone into making that cup of coffee which is served to you.
Yeah,
And when we tell that story to our guests, that's when they really appreciate that. And
true.
the hard work of the farmers and our
Hmm.
baristas and our back-end team, and then it actually being served to you, how it is served. There is a lot of involvement at every stage. The steps, and the steps are really tedious, wherein a lot of standards are being maintained, a lot of things are being taken care of while that
True.
end cup is served to you, and that's where the intricacies are involved. And
Yeah,
that's
true.
where we realize that, post COVID, the entire audience have become so much informed that,
Hmm.
out of 10 cappuccinos we make, if that one does not have that milk sweet spot, I'm not saying that, milk being sweet as sugar, it's the
Yep.
coffee bittersweet, which we say that sweet
Hmm.
spot of the milk. When you, froth, when you steam it properly, there's a sweet spot of a milk which
Yeah.
makes the cappuccino taste sweeter without even adding sugar.
Yeah.
That kind of intricacy, detailing when you actually serve that cappuccino. Out of those 10 cappuccinos, even one which is not that perfect is not acceptable.
Right. True, true. So coming back to quality, how do you
Mm.
maintain quality within your 30 outlets of, food and coffee? Do you follow some process? I think our viewers would like to know more about how do you maintain that?
See, we have a franchise
Hmm.
format, and
Okay.
in franchise format, we have owners across various
Hmm.
geographies
Hmm.
who monitor the business. And obviously, our team, our front end team, takes care of the daily operation. Our back
Right.
end team, the corporate team, which guides them all throughout. There have been, multiple trainings. There are multiple audits, and there are multiple processes and SOPs
Hmm.
which we follow, which helps us to enable. And then the evaluation is various forms of feedback.
Hmm.
It's more it's everywhere now. It's not just
Yeah.
about your in-house feedback. It's your Google review, it's your Zomato review, and everywhere. So
Yeah.
all of those feedbacks, and making sure that we respond to all of those feedbacks in 24 hours. We learn from those feedbacks uh, eventually, and correct all of those issues which we face, the challenges which we see, and uh, uh, good advices and
Hmm.
suggestions from our guests is
Hmm.
something which drives the entire process, systems, and quality, and has been that backbone to create that consistency. And what we feel is that, in
Hmm.
being consistent in an
Hmm.
F&B industry,
Yeah.
you can't score 10 on 10, but we
Right.
strive to reach that 8 on 10 or 9 on 10. And that is where we work. Uh, and that's where we make sure that, how can we still maintain that 8.5, or 9 on 10
True.
every time.
Hmm. Makes sense. No, no,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely makes sense. So what was your transition from, to a brand to a franchising? How did that take turn, and what was the core of that decision to become a franchise model?
See, it was a long journey. In fact, when we started, we
Hmm.
were three friends who
Hmm.
started. We had a common goal, as in let's do something in Surat city. It's been like,
Yeah.
we've seen all across. We really want to do something. We actually we were really excited to create our own brand. That's when we started, and you know, we did business for at least 6 years. We made sure that we go through the entire journey of knowing what a
Right.
customer wants, how the business runs, what are the finance challenges, what are
Hmm.
the service
Hmm.
challenges, what are the overall challenges, 360 degree of a business of running a
Yeah.
cafe. And after that 6th year, we started franchising. So we started
Hmm.
franchising very late, around 2010 or 11. We started franchising,
Okay. Okay.
and that's when we started franchising. When we actually thought that we've got enough inquiries, enough of
Hmm.
people talking about our
Hmm.
brand,
Hmm.
enough of our customers recommending us in the nearby market.
Hmm.
And when we thought that yes, this is the moment when we are well experienced to get into franchising, we are well experienced to take care of our guests to that level and expand to various geographies. So
Hmm.
I always say that from one to two outlets is a
Hmm.
journey,
Yeah.
from two to 10 is a journey. you
Yeah.
know 1 to 2 is a big leap, and that
Yeah.
2 to 10 is a big leap, and
Right.
then 10 to 25 is a big leap, and then
Right.
25 to 50 is a big leap.
Right.
So we are into that 25 to 50 kind of a leap, wherein now our challenges currently are quite different.
Right.
When it comes to franchising, having company owned outlets, having
Hmm.
more control over your operations, your supply chain, your overall brand, marketing, everything. So things have changed over a period of time. And
Right.
that's when we realized that, if we want to expand various geographies of the country,
Hmm.
we really need to make sure that, there is always a local partner who's taking care
Right.
of our business based on our standards, making sure that we are able to achieve 100%. He's able
Hmm.
to monitor the outlet on day-to-day basis, and we are able to manage the outlet on month
Right.
on month, quarter on quarter, or year on year basis to make sure that it is making sense and it is
Right.
relevant. Hmm.
Right. So cuisine changes from franchise to franchise. I mean, as per the city, the cafe is in.
Not exactly. Predominantly, coffee culture has always been a veg coffee brand.
Yeah.
For Gujarat, we are vegetarian.
Hmm.
Everywhere we are vegetarian, but apart from Gujarat, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, we are non-vegetarian. So,
Okay.
there are brands who would be non-vegetarian, and by geography, they will convert into a
Veg.
vegetarian brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what we do as a brand is that by geography, we convert into a non-vegetarian brand. Like, Thane outlet really demanded us to be non-vegetarian. So we were
Right.
non-vegetarian. Lucknow was,
Hmm.
earlier we were vegetarian, then we got converted into non-vegetarian. So,
Right.
the idea is that, we really want to make sense to that particular locality. So that's the
Hmm.
only change we have.
Hmm.
Yes, our pricing would change as per the classification of the city. So
Right.
tier one would have a different pricing, tier two
Hmm.
versus tier three.
Right. Understood. What has
Mm-hmm.
technology played a role from 0 to 30 outlets journey? How has that evolved in, synonym to coffee culture? Do you use any tech? What kind of tech do you use? And what kind of tech do you use for both marketing and in-house?
So we have been an Orkut brand. So we
Okay.
also had an Orkut page. So,
Okay.
right from that era,
Yeah.
from Orkut to Facebook to Instagram, and to now, I think we might have some chatbots powered by GPTs and
Yeah.
AIs.
Yeah.
So that has been our journey in terms of from the customer side, like connecting with the customer. From the management side, yes, we've constantly evolved. We were using different processes over a period of time. Right now,
Okay.
currently, we are on paid puja.
Hmm.
and we are quite happy with the kind of systems and processes we
Hmm.
have. We also have it was very early that we got into paperless feedback. In
Okay.
2011, we got into paperless feedback, which
Hmm.
currently I think after 18, 19 or 20 people have been started into
Yeah.
digital feedbacks and stuff. So we started 2011 digital feedbacks wherein we could actually do analytics of our customers. We could
Hmm.
actually understand, because when we were managing paper feedback, it was very difficult to every day sit in the morning at 9 o'clock and see what the customer
Yeah.
is saying.
Yeah.
So it was quite tedious, and sometimes with paper feedbacks, it was always a challenge that the sometimes you really don't want to highlight what has gone wrong. So
Yeah.
your restaurant manager would start acting smart that he'll hide the bad feedback.
Right.
So that's how we started digital feedbacks and data analytics in
Hmm.
2011, where we had iPad at every cafes, wherein people were, digitally giving feedbacks on iPad. And, post that in 2018, 19, we started with our own mobile app to drive loyalty. And our
Right.
loyalty program also had a membership plan. Now, membership
Hmm.
plan is deactivated in the past 6 months because we are launching a new membership plan. That
Okay.
was a membership plan which ran for more than almost 4 to 5 years. It was called CC Gold.
Okay.
So, now we are coming up with CC Insider very soon. So,
Okay.
now things are changing. So we really want to change our entire way. We
Okay.
are positioning our loyalty program too. So our loyalty program is powered by eWAD, and
Hmm.
there primarily there is a membership plan and there is a visit-based loyalty also. We make
Okay.
sure that we get back to our customers through the lost customer campaigns, and yeah, I'm sure you must be aware of all of those
Yeah.
campaigns
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
apart from that, in terms of technology, uh, uh, Instagram currently, from the customer standpoint, has been very important to connect with the audience.
Right.
Influencer has been an important, unavoidable part
Yeah.
of everyone's journey now. It's
Yeah.
not just about cafes or fashion brands using influencers. Now, even real estate and everything is being
Everyone.
run.
Yeah.
I'm sure this time our elections would also be promoted by uh,
By influences,
influencers.
I see a
Yeah,
different
absolutely.
era. I see people from political parties giving podcasts. So I've seen this Beer
Yeah,
Biceps podcast and news, and having
yeah,
political party
absolutely.
figures coming to those podcasts. So that's like a different influencer combined with PR
Hmm.
that,
Hmm.
those it's a different era
So
altogether wherein there every
absolutely, absolutely.
so it's an unavoidable marketing strategy, basically, to
Hmm.
say it simply. Yeah.
And believe me, those politicians have become so relatable to us because they are on our kind of channel.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
when a beer bicep would interview somebody from a political background, you'll start
Yeah.
connecting or understanding them more as human beings who would also think like you. You become so relatable to them, not just
Yeah.
like a political power or a bureaucrat who would only
Right.
speak when it is required to speak.
Yeah. So that's the perception shift that they want to make, right? Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
But
Mm.
but that's a, I think, conversation for a different time again.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we spoke about this tech, so do you have all of these standardized across all of your outlets? Like, because it's a franchise model, so do you include it in your requirements of franchise model or something? Because this needs to be there on all your 30 outlets, right?
Yes. So that is definitely a mandatory requirement. Okay.
Hmm.
What we make sure is that eventually
Yeah.
our mobile app is being used everywhere. Our Instagram strategy is being used everywhere. But yes, we hyper localize every outlet in terms of social media marketing, because
Hmm.
it's very difficult to back end the entire social media now. It's not about having graphics. It's more
Right.
about having more real and local content.
Hmm.
So that's about it. And yes, POS is standardized, loyalty program is standardized, and the entire SOPs, the kind of technology we use in terms of HR management, operation management, all of
Hmm.
that is standardized.
Right. Now let's pick a topic that's very different for everyone, real estate. So when you're in business, real estate
Mhm.
is perceived very differently with different brands. How do you
Mhm.
go about when it comes to real estate? What's your selection process? Do you usually like lease them, buy them? How do you think that it affects your business as well?
See, I think location is the most important thing.
Yeah,
And there has been a thing in terms of F&B brands or retail for that matter, that the most important thing is location, location, location.
yeah,
And but the thing is, I believe this entire thing has a different meaning altogether. It's not just about having your brand placed right
hmm,
in the center of the market.
yeah,
It's about how you see your audiences, what is the kind of niche you're dealing with.
hmm,
Do you have a similar demographic, the kind of demographics your brand would want to attract? Say, for example, that we are not a brand who might be able to go to a Khan market or a CP in Delhi and make sense.
right,
Whereas sometimes with rental versus revenue would not match. So we really want to make sure that rental versus revenue is the key element in terms of understanding if that is the right location. Number two, demographics are very important. That
right,
demographics, if you don't have the right kind of audience which your brand primarily attracts,
hmm,
then the best of the location can't even help you.
true,
Now, even if you actually get the best of the location and your real estate pricing is not correct, the kind
hmm,
of deal you made with the landlord is not correct,
hmm,
even then, people might see that you're doing business, but
yeah,
ultimately you're not making money.
true,
So, it's very important in terms of location to also have the right kind of terms with the landlord. It's always
hmm,
a marriage, because, if the background is not correct, if you don't
yeah,
get the right kind of supportive landlord, even if you're doing good business, you might end up not uh, making money. It's very important to do that.
right, true, true. No, that's actually very true. So,
Hmm.
last thing that I want to know is how was your journey from 0 to 30 outlets? That's the thing that we usually, spoke about. But what was that
Hmm.
big leap moment as per you? What was that big leap moment decision that, led you to like you said, from 0 to 5 is a journey, from 5 to 10 is a journey. What was that moment, that experience that led you to decide that, okay, now we want to turn into this, now we want to take it to a 30 outlet or 50 outlet brand?
See, it is always a journey and milestones which
Yeah.
you make sure that where you've reached has always been
Hmm.
sum of everything which what you've been doing, what you've been envisioning, and where you want to go. Say, for example, currently we have 30 outlets, we have 7 to 8 which are under construction.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, in the plan, wherein we've not yet finalized the location,
Yeah.
maybe 20 more,
Right.
which may not be seen currently, but yes, eventually that would be visible to everyone.
Yeah.
So, that entire thing is a constant process.
Hmm.
We keep on exploring markets. We want to make sure that, the sky is too big currently for every
Right.
sparrow to, fly. And,
Yeah.
currently the thing is, we are currently into a stage wherein the market has just started and
Hmm.
we're just evolving. There are not many brands in the market who are able to get there.
Do that. Hmm.
And they're currently in the coffee segment, a lot of trust is required
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah.
A lot of approach in terms of brands is going to be
That's
very important, and the
right.
kind of experience, because the entire audience currently may not settle for less, because
Right.
like I said, that post COVID people have been intolerant. They don't
Right.
want to tolerate if they don't have the right kind of an experience, and they
Right.
don't have the similar kind of an experience. If what they're paying for, they're not getting value for what they're paying for. So
Right.
that kind of the entire thing is really going to drive us from 30 to 50 and 50 to
More.
100 and so on. So
Right.
the idea is that that entire thing has also been the driving factor where we are today and where we want to be tomorrow.
Right. So, Gaurav, we are at the end of our conversation, but there are two
Yeah.
questions that I ask everyone, and I want to ask those to you too. One is,
Mm.
what is that one bold decision that you took in your journey that you're still proud of?
Now that's a difficult question.
Yeah, I'm sure that you would have many bold decisions that you would
Mm,
have taken,
mm.
but what was that one that scared the hell out of you, and you're like, okay, but now you're really proud of that you took that decision.
I think every day we have to take such decisions. It's
Hmm.
a lot of decisions you take eventually, and an entrepreneur's life is more about taking decisions and not just thinking.
Yeah.
So I think there has never been that memorable bold decision, because every day is a challenge. And today I'll be taking a bold decision, and probably tomorrow I might again take a bolder decision. So that's an entire average of all the decisions you take is where you reach.
Right. Okay, fair enough.
Mm.
And what is that one piece of advice that you would give to any restaurant owner who's listening to us right now?
See, the idea is that you really need to be passionate to be into this industry,
Mm,
and you really need to eat, breathe, and be totally involved as an entrepreneur. This is not a side business. This is
right.
not your retirement plan. You really need to
Yeah.
be quite much involved into it, and give your everything to this to make sure that you are making sense, and
Yeah.
that's what is important today.
Yeah. That's good. So thank you, Gaurav. Thank you for joining us today and giving us your time. And I'm sure our listeners would be very happy to know about your journey, and I'm sure they'll learn a lot.
Thank you so much.